Good afternoon, guys. I hope all is well. I hope your families are doing well during this time. I hope you guys are staying quarantined, practicing social distancing, all of that good stuff. We're going to jump right into our objective for today, analyzing fat time and food safety and its importance. At this time, you guys should have already responded to the do now question. I see many of you have began responding already. Many of you have been interacting with your equal brothers. So shout outs to you guys. Many of you shared responses that were correct responses, stating that a mnemonic device is used to help you remember something. Many of you stated that it's a memory device. Many of you stated that it's sometimes a song or a phrase that helps you recall important information. Some of you shared that, you know, an example that you knew was PEMDAS that you guys use in math when you solve equations. So it's great that we're all on the same page and we all know what a mnemonic device is. Today, you guys are going to be analyzing exactly what F.A.T.T.O.M is, which is also a mnemonic device that you guys are going to find out what it stands for in a few minutes, few seconds actually. And we're going to figure out why it's significant to food safety. So let's get into it. So F.A.T.T.O.M, guys, is a mnemonic device that is used to recall the 6 conditions that microorganisms, aka pathogens, aka bacteria, begins to grow and multiply in. So one more time, F.A.T.T.O.M represents the 6 conditions that bacteria begins to grow in and multiply in when handling food. So guys, the F in F.A.T.T.O.M stands for food. The first condition that bacteria needs in order to multiply and grow is food. Not just any food, we need protein-rich food. So these are foods that are very high in proteins. These foods include meats, milk, cheese, eggs, and fish. So again, bacteria loves these types of foods. Acidity, guys. The A in F.A.T.T.O.M stands for acidity. I put low in the parentheses because low acidity is where bacteria tends to grow its best. Bacteria grows best in an environment that is neutral or only slightly acidic, meaning that it's very, very low on the acid side. Acidic foods such as vinegar and your fresh fruits, so that's your oranges, your tangerines, your grapefruits, your lemons, your limes. These are not the most favorable places for pathogenic bacteria to grow. Bacteria very seldomly grows in these places because bacteria doesn't like an environment that is too acidic. Keep in mind, guys, that most bacteria will not grow at pH levels below 4.6 because the environment is too acidic. So if you guys take a look at the number line that's at the top of this PowerPoint, you'll see that the numbers increase from left to right. Towards the left side is the numbers that represent high acid. Towards the right side are numbers that represent low acid, aka more of an alkaline base. So bacteria does not tend to grow in an environment that is below 4.6. So take a look at the number line between the 4 and the 5. And if we move further to the left, bacteria is not growing in that environment because it's way too acidic. However, microorganisms, bacteria, does thrive and grow in an environment that ranges with a pH from 6.6 to 7.5. So you see on the number line where it's circled, that's where bacteria begins to thrive. Time, gentlemen. The first T in F.A.T.T.O.M stands for time. Time is very, very important when it comes to food safety. We went over and discussed why the danger zone is important. You guys actually just examined the danger zone in lesson one. So you guys have an understanding on why various different times are important. Food may become dangerous if it's left out for 2 hours or more. You guys learned about what happens if we leave our food out for too long and it hits that danger zone. Um, we know that during this time that food is left out, bacteria doubles every 20 minutes. So if bacteria is doubling every 20 minutes, this means more and more strands of bacteria is growing and multiplying on your food. In just 4 hours, one bacteria can easily multiply to 4,096. That's a ton of bacteria. Bacteria on our food, we obviously know, equates to food that can cause us illness. It can make us sick. Temperature. Our second T in our F.A.T.T.O.M acronym, mnemonic device, stands for temperature. We know that the danger zone is anywhere between 40 and 140 degrees. We know that during this time, bacteria multiplies quickly. We know that during this time, bacteria is alive and it is growing. We know that during this time, a lot of this time is also room temperature. Room temperature is the ideal, perfect time for bacteria to grow. A lot of our homes are room temperature. No one is turning their AC to 40 degrees or to 30 degrees. 30 degrees, 20 degrees. No one is turning their air conditioners on to put their homes in freezing temperature to keep bacteria out. So because we keep our homes in room temperature because it's comfortable for our human bodies, just because it's comfortable for our human bodies doesn't mean it's safe for our food to sit out in it. Put up here also that there are many national organizations that go back and forth on what exactly the danger zone is. Many believe it's 40 between 140. Many believe that it's 41 between 135. It's all over preference. For the sake of our culinary class, we're going to stick with the danger zone being between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, guys, oxygen. The O in F.A.T.T.O.M stands for oxygen. Oxygen is something that most bacteria needs to grow. If something needs oxygen to grow, this is called aerobic. If something does not need oxygen to grow, it is called anaerobic. And examples of things that don't need oxygen to grow are our canned goods. When we discuss foodborne illnesses and you guys shared the foodborne illnesses that you researched with your Eagle brothers, one of those foodborne illnesses was botulism. Botulism is a foodborne illness that does not need oxygen to grow because it's produced within canned foods. It definitely is rare, but it is also fatal, which means it's deadly if it happens to be contracted by someone. Um, let's move on. Moisture, guys. The M in F.A.T.T.O.M stands for moisture. Bacteria loves a wet, moist environment, gentlemen. This is why they thrive on foods that produce moisture, foods that have water in them. Uh, Foods that bacteria don't like are crackers, breads, and breads at room temperature. These things are not the ideal environment because they are dry. And we know that, like we said, bacteria loves a wet, moist environment. Things that we preserve very well with salt and sugar also keeps bacteria away. So bacteria does not grow or reproduce on things such as jams and your grape jellies and your beef jerkies, things that we preserve, meaning that we use a ton of salt on it to dry it out and pull the moisture out, dehydrate it, or we use a ton of sugar in it to pull the moisture out and preserve it, are things that bacteria do not grow on. This is why these things are your shelf life foods. This is why you will never find, your jellies in the fridge in a supermarket or in the freezer out in the supermarket, because they are preserved with sugar. However, if they are fresh, meaning that they're made with fresh fruits, they definitely do need to be refrigerated and won't be sitting on a shelf per se. Gentlemen, I wanted to introduce you guys to the 4-day equals the throw it away food. So whenever we have our leftovers, things that we've either purchased from outside or made within the home, 4 days in the refrigerator is more than enough. If you're ever in doubt about something, meaning that you're unsure whether it's about its smell, whether it's the way it looks, whether it's growing something, or when always in doubt, just throw it out, guys. At this time, I want you guys to close this PowerPoint, and you guys are going to take a short little quiz just so I can check your understanding and see how much information you grasp from the PowerPoint. The quiz is located right under this tab.